Some people are naturally good at kind of playing themselves. And I've never been able to work this out, but it's something that you can do, especially with kids. You can help them to find a way of being themselves, but more on camera. But I think it's very unusual. I think it's very difficult because most actors basically play a part as somebody other than themselves.
I was with a child agency called Abacus, as I say, because I started quite young. I've never trained. I never did the RADA, Lambda, whatever thing. So I guess to say it's a blueprint for the way to do it is not really. But then having said that, film increasingly, if you see your life on stage, you need to have been taught certain things, but film is so much more natural and, I don't know if less and less you need to necessarily train, but I didn't. But is it a blueprint? No, I wouldn't necessarily say so.
I grew up doing theatre at a youth theatre group in the north of England, where I was living at the time. And then I went to university, did some more theatre, and then I came to the London Film Academy to do a month-long filmmaking diploma. And we learnt, first few days, learnt loads about film. Then we had to write a script. Then we shot the script, and I shot the script that I wrote. And then we cut it on Steamback, as in feeding the film through old styling, marking it with a Chinograph, cutting out, putting it back together. And then we sat in a darkened cinema on the last day and watched our films. And I watched it and then walked out into the sunshine, bright sunshine, after being inside, and thought, I found it. This is it. This is what I want to do. And from then on, acting was non-existent for me because I found something that really, really made me feel great and really interested me.
A really key part of the director's role is how to get the best from any actor you're working with. You might be somebody twice your age, very experienced, or it might be a kid doing something for the first time. So I think, in a sense, what the director has to do is quite simple, which is that you have to be incredibly kind of flexible and keep looking and thinking. How can this be better? And sometimes it's a case of leaving the actor alone and seeing what they come up with. Other times it's something which you need to work on much more sort of intimately with the individual. But everybody's different, and it's the same with actors.
You should never ever compromise on getting the right person with the right spirit for the character that you're trying to bring to life. Otherwise you're fucked, in my opinion.
I think there's several differences between American and European actors. I mean, one is that the technique of method acting is much more developed there, especially for screen. And what this means is that the actor tries to find some connection with the character he or she has to play, which is very kind of deep and sort of organic, and then sort of work outwards from the inside. Whereas, for example, British traditions of acting are the opposite. You can't start with the outside and then try and hope you sort of go inwards. I think also there's more of that Americans have a greater tradition of sort of enunciation, that you walk down the street anywhere in America and people kind of, there's a way of addressing you, how's it going, have a good day, and all that kind of thing. So they're more effusive anyway as people. So the actors tend to be louder, more energetic, kind of busier perhaps, which is great because if there's a lot of energy to play with, that's very useful. Whereas I think European acting is more internalized and is something that is maybe takes a little bit longer to bring out. I think in theory American acting is better for camera.
They bring what they bring. I just think people, like actors are actors. Of course they're different, they've got a different accent, they've got a different upbringing. That's like saying what's the difference between a French actor and an English actor. I don't think that comparison is particularly useful, apart from being because we think of Hollywood as big stuff and UK as it's our homegrown thing, so we're talking about it now because we're UK. I mean, people are just who they are from all walks of life, and they bring all different kinds of things to the discipline of acting. So
I think with anybody who wants to be an actor or a filmmaker or a director, I think the key thing is to really find out as much as possible about what you really want to get into, you know, what it entails. Try and get as much experience as possible, so you accumulate confidence, experience, and also a show reel, you know, that you can show people. And you know, don't be afraid to do things that seem an impossible challenge to you. You know, take risks and make sacrifices.